Somewhere in South America, there's a country most of the world can't find on a map. 4 a.m. in Georgetown. A man walks along a concrete wall. Below him, the Atlantic churns. Thick, brown, angry, swollen with mud, carried down from the Amazon's rivers. This is the seawall, hand-built. It's the only thing keeping this country from drowning. 90% of the population lives right here, on a strip of land 2 meters below sea level at high tide. Now look further out. 120 miles offshore, past the muddy shallows, into deep blue water, a different world rises. Steel giants pump crude from beneath the seabed, day and night. This country went from one of the poorest in the hemisphere to the fastest growing economy on Earth, almost overnight. And almost nobody outside it noticed. But back on the coast, the battle is still fought by hand. While offshore rigs run on space-age technology, local workers still turn iron wheels to open wooden colonial-era gates. The kokers, high tide, lock the ocean out. Low tide, let it drain. Space-age wealth on the horizon. 19th century labor on the shore. Welcome to the poorest, richest country in the world. No mountains here, no deserts, just 3 massive rivers cutting through raw jungle, like veins through a living body. 80% of this country is forest so thick, roads and villages disappear from above. This is Guyana. Pull back, and it's really 3 countries in one. A coastline holding back the sea, a jungle hiding jaguars and harpy eagles, with rivers instead of roads. And further south, a savanna that looks more like Africa than South America. 3 worlds, 1 nation. A population so small, the wilderness outnumbers it many times over. And right now, it's sitting on one of the biggest oil discoveries of the century. Geography doesn't just shape people's lives here, it controls them. The country is roughly the size of Britain. Fewer than 1 million people live here. Most are packed onto a coastal plain that sits below sea level, reclaimed from the ocean generations ago, held back by sea walls and sluice gates called kokers. Think about that. The most populated ground in the country is also the most vulnerable. A civilization built beneath the tide it borders. Move inland, and everything changes. Dense rainforest takes over, part of the Amazon basin, stretching for hundreds of miles with barely a road in sight. 3 rivers cut through it. The Essequibo, the Demerara, the Berbice. Wide, brown, slow. For many communities, they're the only route to the coast. The Essequibo alone stretches over 600 miles, dotted with hundreds of forested islands. It also gives its name to something bigger than a river, the Essequibo region, 2/3 of Guyana's landmass, twice the size of Portugal, and the reason a neighboring country has revived a century-old claim on this land. For the people who live along this river, that's not a headline. It's the ground under their homes. Go further south, and the jungle breaks open into the Rupununi, grassland, isolated mountains, wetlands. It feels less like South America, more like East Africa. Tropical heat, trade winds. 2 rainy seasons that turn roads to mud and rivers past their banks. This landscape decides where people live, what they eat, how they move. But landscapes don't tell the whole story. To understand a place, you have to understand the people who wake up in it every morning. Life in Guyana doesn't run on the clock. It runs on the sun, the tide, the trade winds. The day starts early, while the air's still cool enough to work in. In Georgetown, morning arrives as sound before it arrives as sight. A rooster crows down the street. A kiskadee bird calls from a tree. A church bell tolls. Underneath it all, traffic starts to build. Along the coast, in the smaller towns, between Berbice and the Essequibo, the pattern repeats. People up early, racing the sun, before it takes over the day. At the center of every community sits its market. This is where morning comes alive. Fresh herbs, ripe mango, salt air off the sea, the chop of a cutlass splitting a coconut, vendors haggling, neighbors greeting people they've known for years. Watch closely, and you'll spot something new. A shopper pays for mangoes with a tap on her phone. A vendor, over a pot of cook-up rice, has a payment code taped up beside the plantains. The oil money hasn't rewritten this market. It's just quietly slipped into it. These markets aren't just for buying rice, or fish, or plantains. They're the social nucleus of the community. A shopkeeper knows a customer's kids by name. A transaction is never just a transaction. This is a society built on familiarity. The trust that the person selling your vegetables today will be there tomorrow, and the day after that. But the street only shows you the surface. To understand Guyana, you have to step into the home. If the market is Guyana's public heartbeat, the home is its private soul. Nothing here happens without family at the center of it. The house isn't just shelter, it's where the real business of living gets done. Meals, arguments, celebrations, quiet evenings, all of it. Many traditional homes, especially the old wooden colonial-style houses along the coast, are raised on stilts. Underneath sits an open, shaded space called the bottom house. Small detail, huge cultural weight. This is where a hammock gets strung up, where a fishing net gets mended, where a car gets parked out of the sun, where neighbors gather just to line, to hang out, unhurried, escaping the midday heat. Nothing formal happens here. It's the most honest room in the house. Multiple generations often live under one roof, or close enough to visit daily. Grandparents, Aja and Aji, Nana and Nani help raise the kids. They pass down more than discipline, stories, recipes, practical wisdom you won't find in any book. That closeness doesn't stop at the front door. Doors stay open. Kids move freely between yards, watched by whichever adult happens to be nearby. A cup of sugar borrowed here, a plate of food shared there. Small acts, repeated for years, that quietly hold a community together. Nobody has to be asked twice to help a neighbor here. It's just what people do every day without thinking about it. But community only tells you how people live together. To understand who they are, you have to look at where they came from. Guyana calls itself the land of six peoples. For centuries, this stretch of coastline has pulled in cultures from every corner of the globe. That's not a footnote, that's the whole story. The Indo-Guyanese community, the largest group in the country, traces back to indentured laborers brought from India in the 19th century to work the sugar plantations. They brought religious traditions, foods, customs, now woven into the national fabric. The Afro-Guyanese community descends from enslaved Africans forced onto those same plantations. After emancipation, they pooled resources, bought land collectively, and built free villages. A legacy of resilience that still runs deep. The indigenous peoples, the Makushi, Wapishana, Patamona, Arawak, hold a history stretching back millennia, inseparable from the rainforests and savannas of the interior. Add European, Chinese, and Portuguese threads, and you get a nation whose diversity isn't a talking point. It's just how the country is built. You see it clearest in the celebrations. Diwali lights up homes with clay lamps called diyas. Christmas brings pepper pot, black cake, and masquerade bands dancing through the streets. Mashramani turns the whole country into a Caribbean carnival of floats and calypso. Eid means prayer and shared food. And none of these festivals stay locked to the community that started them. Everyone celebrates everything. Even the language carries the blend. English is official. But Guyanese Creole is the real mother tongue. Expressive, rhythmic, the actual soundtrack of everyday life. There's a quiet pride in this, not pride in sameness, pride in a shared history that somehow, against the odds, produced unity instead of division. But identity doesn't put food on the table. To see how this diversity turns into daily survival, look at how people actually make their living. Guyana's economy is a story of tradition, transition, and, very recently, transformation on a scale few nations ever see. For generations, the country ran on sugar and rice. Sugarcane fields have stretched across the coastal plain since colonial times. Rice paddies, especially in Berbice, feed the country and fuel exports. The planting calendar still sets the pace of life for thousands of rural families. Fishing is another cornerstone. Small boats head out at dawn along the coast and rivers, bringing back the day's catch. Move inland and the economy turns rougher. For decades, gold and bauxite mining has pulled people deep into the rainforest, into remote camps called backdams. Hard work, isolated, often dangerous. A high-risk hunt for fortune, worlds away from the steady rhythm of coastal farming. Then, in May 2015, everything changed. A drill bit struck oil, 120 miles off the coast. The Liza Field. Within a few years, a nation of fewer than 1 million people was sitting on over 11 billion barrels of recoverable oil, nearly half the reserves of Qatar. International investment poured in. Georgetown's skyline started changing in real time. More traffic, more construction, more foreign companies moving in. On paper, this is now one of the richest countries on Earth, per capita. On the ground, it's still one of the poorest. Both are true at the same time. Ask people here how that feels, and you won't get a clean answer. Some feel proud, watching their tiny country become a name in global energy. Others feel like the wealth is happening to them, not for them. Most feel both in the same conversation. It's a country straddling two very different economies at once. Sugarcane and rice paddies on one side, oil platforms on the other. Meanwhile, the public sector still employs a huge share of the population, a steadier counterweight to the boom and bust of resource extraction. Guyana hasn't figured out yet how to hold both at once, the old economy and the new wealth. But before we get to the harder questions oil raises, there's something universally beloved that deserves its own moment: the food. In Guyana, a meal is rarely just a meal. It's how people show they care, and how the country's many cultures end up on the same plate. The cuisine is hearty, comforting, built on fresh, local ingredients and a real fusion of traditions. Rice sits at the center of nearly every plate. A meal isn't complete without it. Cook-up rice is one of the most beloved dishes. Rice simmered in coconut milk with beans, herbs, and a choice of meat or fish. One pot, a staple on tables across the country, almost every week. The Indo-Guyanese influence shows up most famously in curry and roti, rich, aromatic chicken or beef curry paired with soft, flaky roti. Treasured across ethnic lines. At Hindu religious functions, 7 curry takes it further. An elaborate, all-vegetarian spread laid out across a broad green leaf. From the Afro-Guyanese community comes metamgi, cassava, and plantain, simmered in coconut milk with fish, slow-cooked. Home cooking, passed down for generations. And then there's pepper pot, the closest thing Guyana has to a national dish. A contribution from the indigenous peoples made by boiling down the bitter juice of the cassava root until it thickens into something dark and syrupy, used as a natural preservative here for centuries. A family might keep it simmering for days on end. This is the dish for Christmas morning, eaten with thick slices of homemade bread. Beneath all of it, the home. Many families keep backyard gardens, peppers, greens, fruit. Recipes rarely come from cookbooks. They're learned by watching, by doing, by standing beside a grandmother at the stove. A shared family meal, built from what grew in the yard or what got bought fresh that morning. That's the truest taste of the country. Food connects people to each other. To see what connects them to the land itself, step outside into the wilderness. Step into the interior, and the forest stops being scenery. It becomes the main character. Over 80% of the country lies under Amazon rainforest, vast, largely untouched, one of the most biodiverse ecosystems on the planet. Ancient trees, hidden waterfalls, wildlife most people only see in documentaries, jaguars, giant river otters, harpy eagles, macaws in full color. For the indigenous communities of the interior, the Makushi, Wapishana, and others across the Rupununi and the rainforest, the forest supplies medicine, food, and meaning all at once. Nothing about that relationship is separate. Knowledge of medicinal plants, hunting, fishing, sustainable farming, passed down across generations. Life here still moves to the rhythm of the seasons and the river, not the clock. The Essequibo, Demerara, and Berbice function as the interior's road network, often the only dependable way in or out for villages with no paved connection to anywhere else. Travel by boat, watch walls of green slide past for hours, and you understand just how vast and untamed this country really is. Even out here, change is arriving quietly. Thatch-roofed schoolhouses now carry solar panels, powering satellite dishes that bring the internet into the jungle. A kid can learn traditional tracking in the morning and pull up a video call in the afternoon. Old and new, sitting side by side, without one erasing the other. living this close to nature builds more than appreciation. It builds a quiet, practical understanding. The well-being of the people and the health of the land are the same thing. But a country this wild still has to move, still has to connect its scattered communities. How Guyanese people get from one place to another says a lot about who they are. For all its untouched wilderness, Guyana is a nation in motion, just not the way outsiders might expect. Along the coast, roads connect the main population centers. The most iconic way to travel between them, the minibus. Brightly decorated, usually blasting music, packed with commuters, neighbors, school children, less a mode of transport, more a shared social experience. To cross the big rivers, you need ferries or speedboats, smaller river taxis. For many Guyanese, a boat ride is just part of the daily commute. Travel into the interior is a different story entirely. Roads turn to mud in the rainy season. A few hundred kilometers can become a multi-day ordeal. For the most remote communities, small aircraft are the only dependable link to the rest of the country. And yet, the modern world keeps pushing in. Visit a village accessible only by river, life dictated by water level and season, and you'll still find a smartphone in nearly every hand. Mobile and internet access are reaching deeper into the interior every year. Guyana isn't choosing between old ways and new tools. It's holding both, one foot planted in each. This blend of old and new shows up nowhere more clearly than in its young people, caught between love for home and the pull of opportunity elsewhere. For young Guyanese, life means walking a quiet line between love of home and the pull of opportunity. Education carries real weight here, anchored by a strong public school system and, at the top, the University of Guyana in Georgetown. For kids raised in rural villages, the trip to Georgetown for school or work has become a rite of passage, the first real step out of the world they grew up in. But graduation brings a familiar crossroads, higher wages, different opportunities. The United States, Canada, the United Kingdom. This has fueled a massive diaspora, so massive, nearly every Guyanese family has relatives abroad. But this migration didn't sever ties. It created a steady connection. Remittances, ideas, culture, flowing both ways. One tradition captures it best: barreling. In depots across Brooklyn and Toronto, big blue plastic drums get packed with real care: powdered milk, soap, school shoes, canned goods, every inch used. When the barrel finally lands in Guyana, it's an event. Under the bottom house, the family gathers. The seal gets sliced open. The smell hits first: cardboard, soap, new fabric. One by one, the contents come out: laughter, a few tears, quiet relief. To a stranger, it's just groceries. To them, it's proof someone still thinks of them. And still, the pull of home stays strong. Many who leave talk openly about coming back one day. For those who stay, there's real purpose in building something for the country's future. Teachers, entrepreneurs, artists, community leaders, balancing respect for tradition with hope for what's next. As day gives way to evening across the country, that same balance plays out on a smaller scale. The shift from outward energy to something quieter. Day and night in Guyana is a study in contrasts, each one deliberate, each one earned. Daytime belongs to work, school, the hum of markets and streets, outward energy, built around making a living. The sun is bright and relentless. Life happens in the open, in full view of the community. As evening falls, the energy turns inward. The heat softens into a warm, breezy twilight. People gather on verandas and front yards, unwinding with whoever's nearby. The soundscape shifts. Market chatter replaced by crickets, low conversation, music drifting from down the road. The evening meal anchors the day, the moment the family comes back together to share food and stories. For many, the local rum shop becomes its own social hub. Dominoes, conversation, the day's events talked through before the quiet finally settles in. A time built for rest, for connection, for recharging. It's a beautiful rhythm. But no honest portrait of a place can stop there, because life here, like anywhere, comes with real and pressing difficulties. Life in this beautiful, complex land isn't without its problems. The same geography that gives Guyana its character also creates its hardest ones. The low-lying coastal plain, home to almost everyone here, stays constantly vulnerable to flooding. An ongoing battle against the sea and the region's heavy rains. The sea walls and kokers that hold the water back need relentless upkeep. Any lapse has real consequences for the people behind them. Infrastructure carries decades of underinvestment. Roads, the power grid, water systems, all of it strained. This is where the paradox gets real. Picture a veranda in Georgetown at night. Warm air, the smell of the ocean. Then the lights flicker, once, twice, and go dark. A beat of silence. Then, diesel generators kick on, one after another, down the street. For families who can't afford fuel, the night just adapts. Kerosene lamps glow under the bottom house. Cooking continues over a coal pot, the smell of garlic and thyme drifting into the rafters. It's not staged for anyone. It's just what people do when the grid fails, and they've done it enough times to make it look routine. Layered on top, a deeper question. As oil wealth reshapes the country, how does it reach the people who are still lighting kerosene lamps at night, instead of deepening the gap that already exists? How does Guyana balance the pull of oil against the urgent need to protect rainforests that matter to the whole planet, not just here? Ask someone on that veranda if they believe the oil money is coming, and you'll get two answers in the same breath. Hope, because why wouldn't you hope? And a shrug, because they've heard promises before. These aren't questions with easy answers. And that's not a knock on Guyana, it's just the truth of what happens when a poor country suddenly finds itself rich and hasn't decided yet what kind of rich it wants to be. And it's precisely because of everything that came before, the family, the food, the culture, the land, that the answer to the next question feels so clear. So why do people stay? In a world offering endless possibility, easier money, more comfort, more convenience elsewhere, what keeps people rooted to this stretch of river and rainforest? Ask people here why they haven't left for somewhere with more money on the table, and you rarely get a rehearsed answer. They stay for a grandmother who still calls everyone by their childhood nickname. For a street where the fruit vendor asks about your exam results before she asks what you're buying. For a bottom house that's hosted 3 generations of Sunday afternoons and shows no sign of retiring the job. They stay for evenings with nowhere urgent to be for a pace of life set by the tide and the sun instead of a schedule. In a world engineered for constant movement, this is one of the few places that still rewards standing still. And more than anything, they stay for something harder to name than logic. A pull toward home that lives in the humid air, in the current of the river, in a people who built something durable together out of very little and refuse to let it go. Guyana isn't easy to sum up in one sentence, and maybe that's the point. A country pulled between the sea and the jungle, between a plantation-era past and a very new kind of future, never quite settling into just one identity. Whatever it becomes over the next decade, it probably won't measure success the way outsiders expect. Not in speed, not in convenience. In whether the people who live here still recognize the place once the money finally arrives. As twilight falls, the sky over the coast turns crimson, then gold, reflected off the Demerara River and the seawall that's held the ocean back for generations. Far south, the Rupununi settles into its own soft quiet. And somewhere out on the dark Atlantic, lights flicker on the horizon, a different kind of future, still finding its place beside the old one. Here, life isn't measured by how easy it is. It's measured by how deep it runs, in a shared meal, in a barrel opened under the bottom house, in a story told on a veranda at dusk. In a world chasing speed, Guyana chose depth, not because it's easy, it isn't. But maybe that's its greatest strength. The richest, poorest country in the world isn't a contradiction. It's just Guyana, still becoming itself, still figuring out, like the rest of us, what to do with a little bit of luck. If this hidden corner of the world surprised you, subscribe, hit the bell. There's another hidden country waiting to be uncovered next. Share it with someone who'd love to see it too. Stay tuned.